The alien nurse administered the wrong injection. Part 1, Marcus Chen opened his eyes slowly. The bright white lights above him made him blink several times. He was lying on a metal bed in what looked like a hospital room, but everything felt strange. The walls were too smooth, and the air smelled like flowers mixed with metal. "Good morning, human Marcus," a soft voice said nearby. Marcus turned his head and saw the alien nurse walking toward him. Her name was Kithara, and she belonged to a species called the Zephyrians. She looked like a giant insect, but in a beautiful way. Her body was covered in what looked like blue-green crystal, and she had 6 thin arms that moved like water when she walked. Her eyes were huge and had many colors in them, like looking at oil on water. "How are you feeling today?" Kithara asked. Her voice came from somewhere in her chest, not from a mouth like humans had. Marcus sat up on the bed. "I feel okay, I think. Maybe a little nervous." He was on the Concordia, a huge spaceship that traveled between stars. It was the first ship that humans and aliens worked on together. Marcus had volunteered to be a test subject for medical experiments. The aliens wanted to make sure that humans could work safely with 12 different alien species without getting sick. "That is normal," Kithara said, preparing something on a metal table. "Today we will give you the metabolic stabilizer injection. It will help your body work better with alien environments." Marcus had read about this injection in the paperwork. It was supposed to be simple and safe. Thousands of humans had already received it with no problems. The injection would help his body process different kinds of air, water, and food that aliens used. But as he watched Kithara prepare the injection, something seemed wrong. Her 6 arms, which usually moved smoothly and confidently, were shaking. She kept looking at the door and then back at the injection. Her crystal skin, which normally glowed with a soft blue light, was flickering like a broken lamp. "Is everything all right?" Marcus asked. Kithara's big eyes looked at him quickly, then looked away. "Yes, of course. Just routine preparation." She picked up the injection device. It looked like a gun made of glass, filled with bright green liquid. But Marcus noticed something strange. The liquid wasn't the same color as in the pictures he had seen. In the information packets, the metabolic stabilizer was supposed to be clear, like water. This liquid was bright green and seemed to glow. "Wait," Marcus said. "That doesn't look like the right injection." Kithara froze. Her 6 arms stopped, moving completely. For a moment, she looked like a statue made of crystal. It is," she started to say, but her voice was shaking now. "Please, human Marcus, trust me, this is necessary." Before Marcus could say anything else, Kithara quickly pressed the injection device against his arm. There was a small hissing sound, and Marcus felt the liquid enter his body. Immediately, something was very wrong. The injection site didn't just sting like he expected, it burned like fire. The burning sensation started spreading up his arm and toward his chest. Marcus gasped and grabbed his arm where the injection had gone in. "What did you just give me?" Marcus asked, his voice getting louder. The burning was getting worse, spreading through his whole body like hot metal in his veins. Kithara quickly walked to the door and pressed several buttons. Marcus heard clicking sounds as locks engaged. She had locked them both inside the medical room. Then, she turned to face him, and Marcus could see fear in her strange, colorful eyes. "Keep this confidential," she whispered urgently, her voice barely audible. "What you have received, it was not meant for human physiology." The burning sensation was spreading faster now. Marcus could feel it reaching his heart, his lungs, his brain. But instead of pain, something else was happening. His vision was becoming sharper. He could see tiny details on Kithara's crystal skin that he had never noticed before. He could hear the humming of machines in the walls that he had never heard before. What did you give me? Marcus demanded, standing up from the bed. He felt stronger than before, like energy was flowing through his muscles. Cathara's 6 arms were wrapping around her body, a sign that Zephyrians were very frightened or upset. It was Zephyrian Neural Enhancement Serum, she said quietly. It is designed for our crystalline nervous systems. In humans, it should cause catastrophic neurological failure within 6 hours. Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. Should cause? What do you mean? Should cause. I mean, Cathara said, watching him carefully, that you should be dead or dying right now. But you are not. You are getting stronger. Marcus looked down at his hands. They looked normal, but he could feel power in them that wasn't there before. When he focused on listening, he could hear conversations happening in other parts of the ship, far away from their medical room. Why did you give this to me? Marcus asked. Was it an accident? Cathara's crystal skin flickered with different colors. Marcus was learning that this meant she was thinking hard about something difficult. No, she finally said. It was not an accident. High Researcher Vexthal ordered me to test the serum on you. He said humans were the perfect test subjects because they adapt to things that should kill them. Marcus felt anger growing inside him, but it was different now. The anger felt focused and controlled, like a tool he could use. So you experimented on me without my permission? Yes, Cathara said, and Marcus could hear sadness in her voice. But the results are impossible. The serum should have destroyed your nervous system in minutes. Instead, your body is adapting to it. You are becoming something new. Suddenly, Marcus heard footsteps in the hallway outside. But these weren't normal footsteps. They were heavy and slow, like someone wearing metal boots, through the enhanced. Hearing the serum had given him, he could hear a deep voice speaking. The human has been in Medical Bay 7 for too long, the voice said. Security protocol requires investigation of any locked medical procedures lasting more than 1 hour. Cathara heard it too. Her eyes grew even wider with fear. That is? Security Chief Valdris, she whispered. If he discovers what has happened, they will take you to the research laboratories. They will dissect you to understand how human physiology achieved the impossible. Marcus felt the power in his body growing stronger. Whatever the serum was doing to him, it wasn't finished yet. Then we need to get out of here, he said, walking toward the door. But Cathara grabbed his arm with 2 of her 6 hands. Wait, she said. There is something else you must know. This was not the first time they have experimented on humans. The alien nurse administered the wrong injection. Part 2. The Awakening. Marcus stared at Cathara as her words sank in. Other humans had been experimented on before him. The burning sensation in his body was getting stronger, but so was everything else. His mind felt like it was working faster than ever before. What do you mean, not the first time? Marcus asked, his voice steady despite the fear growing inside him. Before Cathara could answer, the heavy footsteps outside got louder. Security Chief Valdris was getting closer to their door. Later, Cathara whispered. Right now we must deal with the changes happening to your body. Marcus looked down at his hands again. They were starting to look different, not in an obvious way, but somehow more alive. His skin seemed to glow with a very faint light, and he could see tiny patterns under his skin that looked like circuits made of light. What's happening to me? He asked. The serum is rewriting your nervous system, Cathara explained quickly. For Zephyrians, it enhances our natural crystal-based neural networks, but humans don't have crystal networks. You have something else entirely. Marcus concentrated on his hearing again. He could now hear conversations happening 3 floors above them. Someone was talking about dinner. Someone else was complaining about the ship's temperature. But there was another conversation that made his blood run cold. The human subject in Medical Bay 7 has been isolated for 73 minutes. A cold voice was saying. This exceeds normal protocol by 43 minutes. Should we investigate? Another voice asked. Yes. If the human has been infected or contaminated, we must contain the situation immediately. Marcus realized he was hearing a conversation between alien commanders somewhere on the ship. The serum wasn't just making him stronger, it was giving him abilities that no human should have. They're coming, Marcus told Cathara. And they think I might be contaminated. Cathara's crystal skin flickered with rapid color changes. Marcus was beginning to understand that this meant she was very scared. There is something I must tell you quickly, she said. The serum you received, it was not meant to make you better. It was meant to test how much alien enhancement a human body could take before dying. Marcus felt anger boiling inside him, but it was different now. The anger felt controlled and focused, like a weapon he could choose to use. They wanted to kill me? Not exactly. They wanted to find the limits of human adaptation. High researcher Vexthal believes that humans are the most adaptable species in the galaxy. He wanted to prove it by seeing how much alien technology your body could absorb. The footsteps outside stopped right at their door. Marcus heard the sound of electronic scanning equipment being used on the door's lock. Medical Bay 7, this is Security Chief Valdris, a deep rumbling voice called through the door. Open immediately for routine inspection. Cathara looked at Marcus with panic in her colorful eyes. If he sees you like this, everything is over. They will take you to the deep laboratories. What are the deep laboratories? Marcus asked, though he had a feeling he didn't want to know the answer. Where they keep the humans who survived previous experiments. Marcus felt his enhanced senses suddenly expand even further. He could smell the different aliens on the other side of the door. Valdris smelled like hot metal and ozone. There were 2 others with him. One smelled like sulfur, the other like wet earth. But more importantly, he could sense their intentions. Somehow, the serum was letting him read their emotions and plans. Valdris was suspicious and ready for violence. The other 2 were curious, but also afraid. Nurse Cathara, Valdris called again. You have 30 seconds to open this door, or I will override the locks. Cathara moved quickly to a wall panel and began typing commands with her 6 hands moving. In a blur. What are you doing? Marcus asked. I am downloading all my research files about the human experiments, she said. If we are captured, at least someone will know the truth about what the consortium has been doing. Marcus walked closer to the door. Through his enhanced senses, he could feel the electronic systems throughout the ship. It was like seeing a map made of electricity and data. Without thinking about how he knew to do it, Marcus reached out with his mind and touched the door's lock system. The locks disengaged with a soft click. How did you do that? Cathara gasped. Marcus was surprised too. I don't know. I just felt the system and told it what to do. The door slid open and Security Chief Valdris stepped inside. He was massive, nearly 8 feet tall and covered in what looked like living armor made of black metal. His face was hidden behind a helmet with glowing red eyes. Routine inspection, Valdris announced in his deep voice. His red eyes focused on Marcus immediately. Human, you will submit to contamination scanning. There is no contamination, Cathara said quickly. The treatment was successful and within normal parameters. But Valdris was already scanning Marcus with a handheld device. The device beeped and chirped for several seconds, then made a loud, warning sound. Impossible, Valdris muttered. He scanned Marcus again. The warning sound was even louder this time. What does that mean? Marcus asked, though his enhanced senses were already telling him the answer. The device was detecting massive biological changes in his body. Valdris looked at the device's display, then at Marcus, then at Cathara. This human shows signs of major genetic modification. Neural activity is 400% above baseline human levels. Cellular regeneration is accelerated. Electromagnetic signature is completely anomalous. He stepped back and activated a communication device on his armor. Command Center, this is Valdris. We have a Code 7 situation in Medical Bay 7. The human subject shows signs of unauthorized enhancement. Marcus heard the response through his enhanced hearing, even though it was supposed to be private communication to Valdris's helmet. Contain the subject immediately. Do not allow it to leave the medical bay. High Researcher Vexathol is en route. Valdris looked at Marcus with his glowing red eyes. Human, you will remain here for further testing. Any attempt to leave will be met with force. But as Valdris spoke, Marcus realized something incredible. He could see the weak points in Valdris's armor. He could sense the alien's muscle tension and predict how he would move. The serum had given him abilities that went far beyond what anyone expected. I don't think so, Marcus said calmly. What happened next surprised everyone in the room, including Marcus himself. When Valdris reached for the weapon on his belt, Marcus moved faster than any human should be able to move. He grabbed Valdris's wrist and squeezed. The alien's armor cracked under the pressure. Valdris roared in pain and surprise. Impossible! Humans do not have this strength. Marcus realized that the serum hadn't just enhanced his mind and senses. It had made his entire body stronger, faster, and more capable than any human in history. Apparently, Marcus said, you don't know humans as well as you think you do. The alien nurse administered the wrong injection. Part 3. The Hunt Valdris stared at his cracked armor in shock. The black metal that protected his wrist was bent and twisted where Marcus had grabbed it. No human should be strong enough to damage. Kreck's battle armor. Alert! Alert! Valdris shouted into his communication device. The human subject has dangerous enhancement capabilities. All security teams to Medical Bay 7 immediately. Marcus could hear the response echoing through the ship's communication system with his enhanced hearing. Alien voices from different species were all talking at once, giving orders and asking questions. How many security teams are coming? Marcus asked Kethera. She was typing frantically at her wall panel, downloading more files. At least 12 teams. Different species, different weapons. Marcus, we must leave now. But Valdris was blocking the door with his massive body. Even injured, he was still 8 feet tall and covered in armor. The human will not leave this room, Valdris growled. Command has ordered containment. Marcus looked at the alien security chief. Through his enhanced senses, he could see exactly where Valdris was planning to move. The alien was favoring his injured arm, and his weight was shifted to his left leg. Marcus could predict his next 3 moves before Valdris even started them. I'm sorry about this, Marcus said. He moved faster than Valdris could react. Marcus ducked under the alien's good arm, grabbed him around the waist, and lifted him completely off the ground. Valdris weighed at least 400 pounds, but Marcus lifted him like he was carrying a small child. Impossible! Valdris roared, struggling in Marcus's grip. Humans are weak. You are a weak species. Maybe you need to update your files, Marcus said, and gently set Valdris down outside the medical bay door. Before Valdris could react, Marcus pressed his hand against the door control panel. Just like before, he could feel the electronic system and tell it what to do. The door slammed shut and locked. How are you doing that? Kethera asked, amazed. I think the serum is letting me interface with technology, Marcus explained. Like, your species interfaces with crystal networks, but I can do it with any electronic system. Kethera's eyes went wide. That should be impossible. Human brains don't have the right structure for technological interface. Through the door, they could hear Valdris calling for cutting tools to break through the locks. Marcus's enhanced hearing picked up conversations throughout the ship. Security teams were moving toward their location from 5 different directions. We need to get out of here, Marcus said. Is there another way out of this medical wing? Kethera finished, downloading her files and pulled a small crystal device from the wall panel. Yes, but Marcus, you must understand something. What is happening to you is not just enhancement. You are becoming something completely new. They moved quickly through a maintenance corridor that Cathara showed him. As they walked, Marcus could hear more and more conversations throughout the ship. Most of them were about him. "The human subject has broken containment," one voice reported. "Neural readings show impossible adaptation levels," another said. "High researcher Vexthal wants the subject taken alive for immediate dissection," a third voice added. Marcus stopped walking. Did they just say dissection? Yes, Cathara said sadly. That was always the plan, Marcus. Once they had tested the limits of human adaptation, they were going to study your body to understand how it worked. Anger flowed through Marcus again, but now it felt different. The anger was cold and focused, like a tool he could control perfectly. "What about the other humans you mentioned, the ones from previous experiments?" Cathara's crystal skin flickered with sadness. "They are in the deep laboratories 3 levels below us. Some are still alive. Some are changed." "Changed how?" "Different experiments, different results. One human can breathe in space without a suit. Another can see through solid metal. A third can communicate directly with the ship's computer. Systems without touching anything." Marcus realized that he wasn't the first human to be given impossible abilities. He was just the latest in a series of experiments designed to unlock human potential for alien purposes. "We need to free them," Marcus said. "That is impossible," Cathara replied. "The deep laboratories are heavily guarded. Even with your new abilities, there are too many security systems." But Marcus was already studying the ship's electronic systems through his enhanced senses. He could feel the flow of data through the walls, the power distribution networks, the security grids. The ship was like a huge electronic organism, and Marcus could sense all of it. "Maybe not as impossible as you think," he said. They reached an intersection of corridors. Cathara pointed left toward the escape pods, but Marcus could sense something important to the right. "The communication array is that way," Marcus said, pointing right. "If I can reach it, I can warn Earth about what's happening here." "But the security teams will find us," Cathara protested. "Let them come," Marcus said. "I want to test these new abilities." As if summoned by his words, a security team rounded the corner ahead of them. Marcus counted 6 aliens. 2 Krex warriors like Valdris, 3 insectoid Mantari with razor-sharp claws, and 1 floating ethereal that looked like a jellyfish made of light. "Human subject located," the lead Krex announced. "Surrender for processing." Marcus stepped in front of Cathara to protect her. "I don't think so." The Mantari attacked first, moving with inhuman speed and precision. Their claws could cut through steel, and they worked as a coordinated team to surround their prey. But Marcus could see their attack patterns before they moved. The serum had given him reflexes and prediction abilities that went beyond anything the aliens expected. He dodged the first Mantari's claws, grabbed the second one's arm, and used its momentum to throw it into the third. The 2 Krex warriors charged at him with energy weapons, but Marcus's enhanced speed let him stay ahead of their shots. He grabbed one warrior's weapon and crushed it in his hand like it was made of paper. "Weapons ineffective," the floating ethereal reported. "Subject shows Class 5 enhancement levels." "What's Class 5? Marcus asked Cathara while dodging another attack. "The highest level of enhancement we've ever recorded," she replied. "Usually fatal to any species within minutes." Marcus realized that the aliens had created something they couldn't control. They had tried to enhance humans beyond their limits, but instead of killing them, they had made them into something far more powerful than any alien species. The remaining security team members were retreating, calling for backup. Marcus could hear dozens of conversations as more teams were deployed to hunt him down. "They're treating me like a dangerous animal," Marcus said. "To them you are," Cathara replied. "You represent everything they fear about humanity. Your adaptability, your refusal to accept limitations, your ability to become more than what you started as." Marcus smiled grimly. Then let's show them what they should really be afraid of. He reached out with his mind and touched the ship's internal communication system. Suddenly, his voice was broadcasting to every speaker on the Concordia. "Attention all crew members," Marcus announced. "This is Marcus Chen, human test subject. I know what you've been doing to my people. I know about the illegal experiments, and I'm coming for all of you." The alien nurse administered the wrong injection. Part 4. The revelation Marcus's voice echoed through every corridor, every room, and every corner of the massive ship. Hundreds of aliens heard his declaration, and Marcus could sense their reactions through the ship's communication network. Some were confused, others were afraid, but the ones in command were angry. "Communication systems have been compromised," a cold voice announced over the security channels. "The human subject has gained unauthorized access to ship networks." Marcus recognized the voice from earlier conversations. It was High Researcher Vexthal, the alien who had ordered the experiments on him. "Find him and terminate his network." "Access immediately," Vexthal continued. "Then bring him to Laboratory Complex 7. "The deep laboratories," Kethara whispered. "That's where they keep the other humans." Marcus felt a surge of determination. "Then that's where we're going." "Marcus, no," Kethara said, grabbing his arm with 2 of her 6 hands. "Laboratory Complex 7 is the most secure area on the ship. There are automated defense systems, energy barriers, and security teams that even I don't have clearance to access." "But that's where my people are," Marcus replied. "The other humans who were experimented on. I can't leave them there." Through his connection to the ship's systems, Marcus began mapping the route to the deep laboratories. The path was heavily defended with multiple checkpoints and security doors, but he also sensed something else: weak electronic signals coming from the laboratory complex itself. "Kethara," Marcus said, "are the enhanced humans in the laboratories conscious?" "Some of them, yes. Why?" Marcus concentrated on the weak signals he was sensing. They felt familiar somehow, like electronic patterns that reminded him of his own enhanced abilities. "I think they're trying to communicate with the ship's systems, just like I can," Marcus said. "But they're being blocked by security firewalls." Marcus reached out with his mind and began carefully dismantling the electronic barriers around the laboratory complex. It was like solving a puzzle made of electricity and data. As each barrier fell, the signals from the deep laboratories got stronger. Suddenly, Marcus heard a voice in his head, not through his ears, but directly in his mind. "Can you hear us?" the voice asked. It was human, but changed somehow, deeper and more complex than a normal human voice. "Yes," Marcus thought back. "Who are you?" "My name was Sarah Martinez. I was the first human they enhanced 6 months ago. There are 11 of us down here. We've been waiting for someone like you." Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. "Kethara, how long have these experiments been going on?" "Almost a year," she replied. "You are test subject number 24. "What happened to the other 12? Kethara's crystal skin flickered with sadness. "They did not survive the enhancement process." Marcus felt the cold anger inside him grow stronger. 12 humans had died so that the aliens could perfect their experiments on his species. "Sarah," Marcus thought toward the laboratory complex. "What did they do to you?" "Different things to each of us," Sarah's voice replied in his mind. "They gave me ethereal telepathy enhancers. I can now communicate with any electronic system in the galaxy. James got Kreck's strength multipliers. He can lift 10 tons. Maria received serpentine sensory boosters. She can see through walls and detect life signs from miles away." Marcus realized that each enhanced human had been given abilities from different alien species. The aliens were trying to create a library of human adaptations. "Can you help me get to you?" Marcus asked. "We've been working on that for months," Sarah replied. Every time a new human arrives, we get a little closer to breaking free. With your abilities added to ours, we might finally have enough power to escape." "Marcus," Cathara said urgently, "security teams are converging on our location. We must move." Marcus could sense them too. Dozens of aliens moving through the ship's corridors toward their position. But he also sensed something else. The enhanced humans in the laboratories were beginning to use their abilities in coordination. Lights began flickering throughout the ship as Sarah interfaced with the power systems. Hull sensors started reporting false readings as Maria used her enhanced senses to confuse the ship's detection systems. Gravity fluctuated in certain sections as James tested his strength against the ship's structural supports. "What's happening?" Cathara asked as the corridor around them shook slightly. "The other enhanced humans are helping," Marcus explained. "They're using their abilities to disrupt the ship's systems." Suddenly, Marcus heard Vexthal's voice over the communication system, but now the alien sounded worried instead of confident. "All security teams fall back to defensive positions around Laboratory Complex 7, Vexthal ordered. The enhanced subjects are coordinating their escape attempt." Marcus smiled grimly. The aliens were finally beginning to understand what they had created. "Marcus," Sarah's voice said in his mind, "we can create a window of opportunity, but you need to get to the central laboratory. That's where they keep the master control systems for all our containment fields." "Where is the central laboratory?" Marcus asked. "Deck 15, Section 7. But Marcus, there's something else you need to know. Vexthal isn't just experimenting on humans for scientific curiosity. He's preparing for something bigger." "What do you mean?" "We've overheard communications between the research teams. The Galactic Consortium is planning to use enhanced humans as weapons in a war against another galaxy. They want to create an army of humans with alien abilities." Marcus felt his enhanced senses suddenly expand as anger flooded through him. He could now perceive the entire ship like a three-dimensional map in his mind. He could see every alien crew member, every security team, every weapon system. "An army," Marcus repeated. "They want to turn humans into weapons." "But they made a mistake," Sarah's voice continued. "They assumed that enhanced humans would be controllable. They didn't realize that human adaptability includes the ability to resist control." Through the ship's sensors, Marcus detected High Researcher Vexthal moving toward Laboratory Complex 7 with a team of the ship's most dangerous security personnel. But he also sensed something else. Vexthal was carrying a device that Marcus's enhanced abilities recognized as a neural control transmitter. He's planning to use that device to control the enhanced humans, Marcus realized. "Not if we stop him first," Cathara said. She had been quietly listening to Marcus's half of the mental conversation. "Marcus, I have been documenting these illegal experiments for months. If we can reach the central laboratory, I can broadcast all the evidence to the Galactic Council." Marcus made his decision. "Sarah, tell the others to be ready. We're coming. To get you." "All of you?" Sarah asked. "All of you," Marcus confirmed. "And then we're going to make sure this never happens to any human again." The ship shook again as the enhanced humans increased their coordinated assault on the ship's systems. Emergency alarms began blaring throughout the corridors. Marcus turned to Cathara. "Are you ready to help me save my people?" Cathara's crystal skin glowed with determined light. "I have been ready since the first human died in these experiments." Together they began moving toward the deepest, most heavily defended part of the ship, where 11 enhanced humans waited for rescue and one alien researcher prepared to turn them into weapons of war. The alien nurse administered the wrong injection. Part 5. The new paradigm Marcus and Cathara moved through the ship's corridors as chaos erupted around them. The enhanced humans in the laboratory complex were using their abilities to systematically disable the ship's systems. Lights flickered on and off, gravity fluctuated between normal and zero, and security doors opened and closed randomly. They're making it impossible for the security teams to coordinate, Marcus observed as he watched alien guards struggling to navigate the constantly changing environment. Through his mental connection with the other enhanced humans, Marcus could sense their individual contributions to the chaos. Sarah was reprogramming the ship's computer systems, making them report false information to the command crew. James was using his incredible strength to bend support beams just enough to create structural stress without causing hull breaches. Maria was using her enhanced senses to track every security team and feed their locations to the others. "Marcus," Sarah's voice said in his mind, "we've created a clear path to Laboratory Complex 7, but it won't last long. Vexthal is activating emergency protocols." "What kind of emergency protocols?" Marcus asked aloud. "He's preparing to jettison the entire laboratory section into space," Sarah replied. "If he can't control us, he'll destroy us and all the evidence." Marcus felt his enhanced abilities surge with determination. "Not if I stop him first." As they approached the laboratory complex, Marcus could see the massive security doors that protected the deepest part of the ship. Each door was 3 feet thick and designed to withstand attacks from the most powerful alien weapons. But Marcus could sense the electronic systems that controlled them. He placed his hand on the first security door's control panel and reached out with his mind. The door's security system was incredibly complex, with multiple layers of encryption and fail-safes. But Marcus's enhanced abilities had grown stronger over the past few hours. He could now interface with any electronic system as naturally as breathing. The massive door slid open with a deep, rumbling sound. "Impossible," a voice said from behind them. "No species can interface with consortium security systems." Marcus turned to see High Researcher Vexthal emerging from a side corridor. The alien was 12 feet tall and looked like a giant snake covered in silver scales. His eyes were bright yellow and completely without emotion. In his hands, he carried the neural control device that Marcus had sensed earlier. "Human Subject 24. Vexthal said in a voice like ice. "You will return to your containment. Cell immediately." "I don't think so," Marcus replied calmly. Vexthal raised the neural control device. "This transmitter can override any enhanced nervous system. You will obey." He activated the device, and Marcus felt a strange pressure in his mind, like someone trying to push thoughts into his head that weren't his own. The device was designed to take control of enhanced brains and force them to follow commands. But Marcus's human adaptability had prepared him for this too. Instead of fighting the control signals, he absorbed them and turned them into additional power for his own abilities. "Your control device doesn't work on humans," Marcus said, smiling. "We adapt to things that should control us." Vexthal's yellow eyes widened in shock. "Impossible. This device has been tested on every enhanced species in the galaxy, but never on humans," Marcus pointed out. "You made the same mistake with the serum, with the security systems, and with everything else. You assumed humans were just another alien species." Marcus reached out with his enhanced abilities and connected to the neural control device in Vexthal's hands. Instead of being controlled by it, he took control of it. "Now," Marcus said, "let's see how well your device works in reverse." He sent a command through the device to unlock every containment cell in the laboratory complex. Throughout the deep laboratories, energy barriers flickered and died. Containment fields shut down. Security locks disengaged, and 11 enhanced. Humans stepped out of their cells for the first time in months. Marcus could sense them through the ship's systems as they moved through the laboratory complex. Each one had abilities that should have been impossible, but human adaptability had made them work. Sarah appeared first, walking through a wall using her ability to phase through solid matter. Her eyes glowed with soft blue light as she interfaced, with every electronic system around her. James came next, his enhanced muscles allowing him to tear through metal barriers like paper. He was followed by Maria, whose enhanced senses let her see the location of every alien on the ship. One by one, The other enhanced humans emerged. Each had been given different alien abilities, but all had adapted in ways that their captors never expected. "This is not possible," Vexthal hissed. "Humans are weak. You are limited. You cannot surpass your creators." "That's where you're wrong," Sarah said, her voice now speaking aloud instead of just in Marcus's mind. "Humans don't have creators. We have survivors." Together, the 12 enhanced humans surrounded Vexthal. Marcus could feel their collective power through the ship's systems. They were connected now, not just by their abilities, but by their shared experience and their determination to protect their species. "Cathara," Marcus said, "it's time to send your evidence to the Galactic Council." Cathara moved to a wall, terminal, and began uploading all her files. "It will take 5 minutes to transmit everything." "You will not succeed," Vexthal said. "The consortium has plans within plans. Even if you expose this research, there are other facilities, other experiments." "Then we'll find them too," Marcus said. "Every single one." As Cathara's files uploaded to the Galactic Communication Network, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. Other alien crew members who had not been part of the conspiracy were learning the truth about what had been happening in the deep laboratories. "Marcus," Sarah's voice said in his mind, "we're receiving communication from other ships in the fleet. Some of the alien crews are demanding that their commanders explain these experiments." "Good," Marcus said aloud. "Let them explain." Through the ship's communication system, Marcus could hear conversations as alien commanders tried to justify their actions to their own crews. Many of the regular alien crew members were horrified to learn that they had been traveling with what was essentially a torture facility. "The evidence has been transmitted," Cathara announced. "Every member of the Galactic Council now has complete documentation of the illegal human experiments." Vexthal made one last desperate attempt to activate emergency protocols that would destroy the laboratory complex, but Sarah's control of the ship's systems blocked him completely. "It's over," Marcus told the alien researcher. "Your experiments are finished." "This is not over," Vexthal replied. "You have shown the galaxy what enhanced humans can do. Some species will fear you. Others will want to ally with you. Either way, everything has changed." Marcus looked around at his 11 fellow enhanced humans and realized that Vexthal was right. They weren't just test subjects anymore. They were representatives of a new stage in human development. "Yes," Marcus agreed. "Everything has changed. Humans are no longer the species that other aliens can experiment on or control. We're the species that adapts to anything you try to do to us and becomes stronger because of it." Within hours, rescue, ships from both human and alien authorities arrived at the Concordia. The enhanced humans were taken to medical facilities for evaluation, but as volunteers, not prisoners. Vexthal and his conspirators were arrested for crimes against sentient species. But the most important change was in how the galaxy viewed humanity. The wrong injection that was supposed to kill or control Marcus had instead revealed the true extent of human adaptability. No longer were humans seen as a weak species suitable for experimentation. They were now recognized as the species that could survive and thrive under any conditions, adapt to any challenge, and turn any attempt to control them into an opportunity to grow stronger. Marcus returned to Earth not as the same person who had volunteered for simple medical tests, but as the first of a new kind of human, one who had proven that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their weapons, but their infinite capacity to become more than anyone else believed possible.